I'm a designer. I like to keep it generic because I don't just focus on one area of design. It's quite vast. However, my degree is in 3D and interior design. 3D, when people think 3D, they automatically think it's computer related. However, the course I studied at MCOS, 3D refers to anything which you design, which at the end ends up in a 3D form. So we touched on a bit of product design, fashion design, a bit of jewelry. So it was very vast. It really opened a lot of different doors. It's quite strange how it actually happened, because some people tell me, oh, so you must have a particular passion for scarves. Yes and no, as in I love scarves. However, there was more to it than that. When I decided that I'd like to start working alone and have my own business, it was always a dream of mine to have my own, well, really fashion accessories collection, because I love fashion accessories. And I started off with scarves because I had to say, okay, so I work from home, I'm launching mid-November, I need something which targets many women of different ages and something which is feasible and I can actually work on from home. So scarves was the way to go as a starting point, but who knows what will follow. So when starting a new collection, really and truly, colours inspire me a lot. So I do research on that particular season and what colours are in that season, even what patterns are in, what other designers are doing. I also take a lot of inspiration from things around me, and even I apply my own design beliefs or for example, I love texture, I love combining different textures and beads, different fabrics, different materials. At the start of every season, before the season begins, I do my research of what's going to be fashionable the next season. And then after that, I put my own touch into it. There'll be research on colors, research on what other designers are doing. I watch loads of different fashion shows. Hopefully one day I'll actually be able to be there, but at the moment it's just YouTube. And then I also get a lot of inspiration from materials. So I see what materials I have to use, and I start building the collection like that. For instance, my winter collection, I used a lot of different fabric, I used a lot of different beads, ribbons, I even made handmade roses out of fabric. It was a lot of fabric, a lot of texture, quite ornate. That was one collection. Then when it came to spring, that was a very different collection. Again, I had to do my research, see what colors were in, and at the moment, prints are very in. So I said, okay, how can I come up with a print myself, a hand-painted print? So that was a lot of experimentation, a lot of test pieces, until I came up with this new technique and then I based my collection around this technique. Different colors and applied paint to fabric in different ways. I think a lot of passion, definitely, as in for me that's my drive, you know. It's good to have a vision. At the same time, I think it's important to also be open-minded, because at times I found that when I was too focused on one thing, I missed other opportunities on the way. So I think passion and drive in what you do, a lot of hard work, to be humble enough to ask for help when you do not know it all, to even seek the help, other people's advice, a lot of research, and some basic capital also obviously helps. What I did was I did it gradually. Thank God when I first started, because it's something which I've been doing, but just as a hobby, I already had a lot of paint, a lot of beads, a lot of, you know, different pieces of fabric. I tend to do that. Anything which I find that interests me, I buy or I collect, and then I say, oh, okay, years later, I have a cupboard. Years later, I say, okay, this will be great for here. And it was thanks to my mother. She bought me my first lot of scarves. I started off with about 30 scarves, and then just started experimenting, painting, beading, sewing with what I already had. So that was, obviously I bought a few pieces here and there. Then I started selling, and with what I made from what I sewed, I started reinvesting, and it started growing and expanding. And that was through Facebook. It's incredible how powerful it is. I remember when I was setting up, now I'm really not IT savvy at all, but it's part of, you know, you're working alone, you have to do things which you never thought I mean, not that the Facebook page was something out of this world, but even on Facebook, I was not much of a Facebook user. And then I began to realize how important it was for business. It's free. Again, starting off, I didn't have enough money to have a website or to open a shop, so I had to consider my options. So really it was through Facebook, which worked brilliantly. Contacts do help, definitely. Malta's small. I don't know, maybe it's the same everywhere in the world, but definitely I think networking is so important. And you really never know. One contact leads to another. That's one thing I've learned, that you may meet someone and say they're not relevant to me, but you never know how one may link to another. And so I really believe in networking.